Hello, everyone. It's me again. I'm the Brick Guy. We're here to talk about Tyranids and their faction focus today. It's gonna bug me. I have my soundboard. Where's the fart reverb? All right. Let's talk about this. All right, faction focus Tyranids. I'm sorry. Nids, the bugs, the great devourer. Yes, indeed. What is, everyone loves their buggy boys just because they're very simple. It's just like, what are our motives? Biomass. What do you plan to do at our company? Biomass. You're hired. Easy peasy. I said I was going to read this stuff, and now I just don't think I need to read it. Maybe it's just the actual pieces of text that or the actual images that matter more. Tyranid's got a whole hell of a lot of new models, a new screamer killer, some of these weirdo looking brain bugs, one looks like a venom crawler, all kinds of shenanigans. And unfortunately, no new gene stealers, and gene stealers look like shit. But anyway, Tyranid army rules. We have two. They have the Synapse and the Shadow in the Warp. If your army faction is Tyranids, while a Tyranids unit from the army is within 6 inches of one or more Synapse models, they take battle shock tests on 3d6 instead of 2d6. This is the greatest thing I've ever read because it is a trend that I hope continues overall and makes me a happy brick. Why? Because it is not a absolute. Only Siths deal in absolutes, okay? For the longest time, my biggest annoyance playing Night Lords especially is that morale never matters because so many people just flat out ignore it. K-Suns, Dark Angels, Tyranids, Custodians are just high enough to where it doesn't even matter. Things like Knights, they don't care. They just don't care. And so because of that, the fact that this is not ignores battle shock tests or anything like that, it's better battle shock tests. It's stronger battle shock tests. It's also only within 6 inches, which is kind of nice because I think Synapse before was like 12. I don't really remember, but it's not super large and it's better. It's not in absolutes, and I love that. Is a great trend that I'm seeing is that I'm seeing a ton of things that are not just this is what it is, sucks to suck. It is a more fluid, and it was like one of my biggest issues I had with 9th edition is the absolutes. Units that had permanent transhuman or trans hit or something like that instead of just a stratagem or something else that gives it to them. Everything was permanent. Things like the Emperor's Children had this ability that was basically ignore all hit modifiers, I think. And it's like, why even bother then? Like, why is your army ability just ignore my stuff completely? So, anywho, Shadow in the Warp is also the army rule. Once per battle in either player's command phase, if one or more units from your army with this ability are on the battlefield, you can unleash the Shadow in the Warp. When you do, each enemy unit on the battlefield must take a battle shock test. So this is like genuinely a huge threat. It is just this spirit bomb that the Tyranids can hold above their heads and just like thrust upon your person. And what's interesting is that it's every single enemy unit must take a battle shock test, regardless of if they are under half strength or under half wounds. They just have to do it. And I must say, that's pretty cool. Some people I've heard might be a little bit iffy about the amount of rolling you have to do, but it's once per game, so whatever. The fact that you can do it in either command phase, so before your opponent's about to score or before you're about to score, you can just be like, boom. That's the cannon sound of the Shadow in the Warp. Is fart reverb. It's just insane. It can makes it so that if you're like got a bunch of gribbly bugs just sticking around and all kinds of various people and they have to fall back, it makes that really tough. falling back is just really super difficult. They can't use certain stratagems. It's just, it's got such an absolute power to it. And I love that it's once per game too. Again, using your brain, like the Space Marine episode I mentioned. So, unit spotlights. Let's talk about the Gene Stealers. Gene Stealers. So, the Stealers of the Genes. They have keywords Infantry, Great Devourer, and Gene Stealers. They have the core Scout 8 inches, which is actually stated here that it allows them to get a free 8-inch move after deployment, which is really cool that you have that kind of thing that's a specific inches, so that certain things that have more or less, and you can kind of adjust it. Also great for balance, because think about it. Gene Stealers have Scout 8 inches, and then you find out the Scout is the big problem with Gene Stealers. Errata. Change Gene Stealer Scout to Gene Stealer Scout 6 inches or 4 inches. Like you can make tweaks, with the numbers. They move 8 though, so that makes sense why it's 8. It's basically a pregame move. They are T4, so Space Marine, that's about the same, I think. 5-up armor save, but they have a 5-up invul save as well, so you're really just taking the invul save at all times. 2 wounds, so a bit tougher. A leadership of 7+, which means you might, I don't know what you need. It's 7. It's high. It's like orcs, I think. And then 1 OC. As for their weapons, they get 4 blistering attacks each at weapon skill 2, strength 4, AP 2, 1 damage. They also have the fancy ability that says each time a model in this unit makes an attack, reroll a wound roll of 1. If the target is within range of an objective marker, you may reroll the wound roll instead. So that's actually a pretty nasty buff, because the fact that they hit on 2s means they're already going to be extremely efficient. And now they will become even more efficient at the one thing that could have been the problem, the wound reroll. And especially if they're going into an objective marker. That is actually pretty darn strong. And I know that GW does that thing where they said, hey, we're going to lower rerolls, and then they give you like oaths of moment and things like that. But I play devil's advocate on this one, because all of the rerolls I'm seeing are generally limited to either very specific things or data sheet areas. Like the dreadnought that is like hits things like over half strength or whatever, or starting strength, it gets the full rerolls to hit. All right, so it's specifically that dread. Twin linked is specifically the wound reroll. Oaths of Moment is its own Space Marine thing. And then you've also got like this Gene Stealer thing. But like Bobby G doesn't give any rerolls. Bobby G gives no rerolls. He just gives pick a target, a second oaths, which would be rerolls, I suppose. But like, he doesn't have an aura or anything. There's nothing like that. It's all baked into data sheets, and I do like that a lot. Gene Stealers are actually kind of unremarkable. This amount of attacks is blistering. They shred things apart with that. It's quite frightening, but they're only strength 4, so it's really just an anti-infantry tool. And even then, it's kind of an anti-mid-level infantry tool. You're wounding Terminators on 5s, unless they're on an objective, then you get to full rerolls, and then they'll be a little bit scarier. But, if the Gene Stealers have like a 5-man squad, then, 20 attacks, like, yeah, it hits pretty hard, but with the extra wound and everything, like I feel like they're going to be kind of expensive, especially with the pre-game moves. So we'll see how it turns out. Swarm Lord. Swarmy, swarmy, swarmy. Swarmy, swarmy, swarmy. The Swarm Lord. Movement 8. Toughness 10. 10. The man is tankier than Bobby G. And that's okay. He should be. 2-up armor, 10 wounds, same as Bobby G. Still kind of bad battle shock tests. They just like don't have great battle shock leadership. But, they have synapse, who cares? And 3 OC. As for his ranged weapons, we have an 18-inch psychic attack called Synaptic Pulse, which is actually pretty spooky because it's 1 psychic, but it's also torrent. And torrent is the fancy catch-all term for auto hitting like a flamer. So it's D6 + 3, basically auto hitting heavy bolter shots, which, that's kind of solid. Like that's a good brain blast right there, no doubt. And then for his melee weapons, he has twin-linked bone sabers, 8 attacks, hits on 2s, 9, 2, 3, full rerolls to wound because twin-linked. That's pretty darn good, It's very general purpose, it'll hit tanks at the small tanks at a good threshold. He doesn't have like anything super anti-tank, but he's just got a pretty generalistically strong melee weapon, and the fact that it can re-roll its wounds makes it actually pretty decent against most tanks, because I don't think there's anything that's going to be toughness 18, so it works out really well. It also has Epic Hero as well, as that seems to be a new main special thing, is Epic Hero. Psyker, of course, Great Devourer, the Swarmlord, etc. Has a 4-up invul, obvious. Has a D3 Deadly Demise, so explodes. It's a leader. Yeah, I want to see the leader thing. I don't know what that whole point of the leader. Maybe it's just wait, it's an ability though. Does that mean it has to be attached to something? I don't remember exactly how that goes. Whatever the point of leader, it's not whatever. He's a leader, for God's sake. Whatever, he's a leader. Screw it. Whatever, he's a leader. But as for this here, it has the Hive command. Wait a minute, yeah, there's no wait. 10th edition Space Marine leader. Oh, God damn it. Oh, is this it? It says core leader. Well, gosh darn it. It says leaders now join squads. Well, now I'm just trying. Now I'm all screwed up. Oh, God. Sorry, Frontline Gaming. So, okay. Here we go. This model can be attached to the following units. You can attach the models to the above, even if a chapter master. Right. Okay. So each leader will have a certain number of squads they can join. So the Swarmlord would join a squad then, because I don't think Bobby G did join a squad, right? Scroll. Next up is Necrons. Oh boy, I'm excited. All right, screw it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry. I apologize. But Bobby, I just reopened Tyranids. God damn it, Bricky. God fucking damn it. Okay. Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines. Does Bobby G have leader? I don't think he did. No, he doesn't have leader. Hence the lone operative ability, because the Swarmlord does not have the lone operative ability. Does Abaddon have leader? Because I know they shut off Abaddon. We'll talk about this tomorrow. He do also have a leader. So the Swarmlord is actually attached to a unit at the end of the day. Huh. And then once the unit dies, then he's actually able to be shot. Wait, that means he's not able to be shot until the unit dies. Oh my God. The toughness 10, 2-up save, 10 wound, 4-up invul, goddamn Swarmlord can't be shot until his squad's dead. Oh no! Oh Lord almighty. And he's got a really good gun, and he hits like a truck. Oh shit. Oh boy. Okay, sorry. That's I mean, it's fine. I'm sure it's not that big of a deal, but even so, it's kind of funny to think about, So, Hive Commander. At the start of your command phase, if this model is on the battlefield, you gain 1 CP. That's honestly just really good. You just gain a CP. Just like, screw it. You get a CP. Have fun, kid. Enjoy yourself. 1 CP. Goddamn. And then Malign Presence. Once per battle, if your opponent uses... Oh, right. This is a Vect. As Warlords on the battlefield, it can use his ability. If it does until the end of the battle, increase the stratagem's cost to your opponent by 1 CP. It says your opponent uses a stratagem. It doesn't specify what kind of stratagem. Can you just use that on a CP reroll? Like, sucks to suck, dude. For the rest of the game, your CP reroll is 2 CP. Eat my biomass ass. My bio ass. God damn. it's like all your CP is belong to him. Like I get more CP, you get less CP. Eat my bio ass. And then he also gives Synapse out of 9 inches instead of 6. And that's the domination of the hive mind. Huh. Well, goddamn. This dude is something else. That's so much CP. There's nothing that says no, so who knows? Oh, this is like a core rule that says like core stratagems cannot be increased, but we'll see. Wow. Swarmlord. There he is. Moving on, there's Weapon Spotlight, the Rupture Cannon. This thing is also kind of eye-watering, but I'm actually not that scared about it. It's strength 18, which makes, you know, it's wounding small things like rhinos on 2s, which is pretty darn good. And everything else probably on 3s. AP4 is also really good. The damage is great. It's swingy as hell though. Which I guess is kind of okay for NIDS. I feel like the NIDS guns should be a little swingy. You know, it's because of their nature. It's kind of bizarre. But 2 shots hitting on 3s, like this is going to be an all or nothing. This thing is either going to one-shot something or it's going to do dick. So I don't know. And then Stratagem Spotlight. This one is 1 CP. Your command phase, up to 2 Endless Multitude, which they said here is Termagants, Hormagaunts, Gargoyles, and the new Nerogaunts. Or within it can get up to D3 plus 3 destroyed models. And it says from your army that are within Synapse range of your army. So 2 within Synapse or just 1 in general. Which is pretty disgusting that it could get up to 12 models if you roll Spike and Hot. And it's just... you're next to a Synapse model? Cool. Bugs. Which is pretty cool. I won't lie. It's pretty cool. And that's about that's about it. It says, word from the studio. We are keen to bring the unnatural alien horror of the Tyranids to the fore in this edition, emphasizing they are utterly terrifying foes to fight. Makes sense. Shadow in the warp. This leads to the Shadow Warp, causing battlefield-wide panic and disruption, while creatures in Synapse range remain single-minded and utterly lethal, especially in the confines of close combat. Meanwhile, the famed bioadaptability of the Tyranids is captured in attachment rules, allowing them to adapt at the start of the battle to best suit their prey. Right, because they can adjust what they do with their attachment rules and that whole thing, and how the powers they have. So it's a devastation of ball. I keep being told to read this book. Everyone tells me it's really good. That's pretty neato. I mean, the NIDS are the NIDS, man. You know, like they're known for being this just horrifying mass of creatures. And from what it looks like, I'm liking it. You know, the Rupture Cannon is the only thing I'm a little lukewarm on. Like, I don't know. Everyone out there who's ever fired just 2 big shots know you'll always roll 1s. It just happens. But this Endless Swarm thing is really fun. I like the Swarm Lord. The fact that he's a leader is terrifying. Gene Stealers look good. Shadow in the Warp is my favorite part. It's just blong. It's, you know, like I said, more skill. I love more skill. It's really good. You know, I feel like I could have made all of these into one video. Space Marines, NIDS, and CSM. Yeah, but I like money. I like money too much. I'll see you in the next episode of Warhammers, I guess. Oh boy.